Welcome back. Well, we got some cold weather. 15 degrees this morning. Everything's froze hard. We're gonna go feed, and we'll give you another week review on the truck, and that's what's happening on Ranching Sodak. Well, what you missed is about a foot, maybe 14 inches of wet snow we got 4 days ago. I did move snow off of our yard and stuff, but in the fields, of course, it's all melting pretty fast. It's muddy. So we didn't feed with the wagon one day. That was yesterday. We were gone in the morning, so I missed my opportunity in the frozen ground. So then I just fed them hay instead of a load of silage with the wagon. And that's the beauty with the beef cows. The Wisconsin guys say it best. They're walking dumpsters. Not every day of their life. There's certain times you want to treat them pretty good and feed them proper ration, but by and large, a beef cow, you can give them about any kind of feed, cow feed, hay, silage, you know, corn, not corn, different things, and they'll utilize it. 1 day, 2 days, if I can't use my wagon, I got to feed them just an extra 4 or 5 bales of hay. It's not the end of the world in their life, and they're fine. But today, it's frozen, nice and hard. Dakota Concrete is back for a few hours, so we're gonna go feed right now, make it easy. To back up a little bit, I did feed 2 days, and I drove through a foot of wet snow, and I was able to go anywhere I wanted to go with the truck, so no concerns. I just didn't want to make a mess yesterday. Let's burn the garbage. Whoa, that was I would give you probably a 4 on your attempt there, on your jumping attempt there. So the fuel reel and all the comments. Keep the comments coming, keep the criticisms coming, because it does give me ideas. I'm not offended at all by anything you guys tell me or suggest. When we first built this building, my original plan was I was gonna put more barrels in here. So that's why I had this barrel setting this way when I did it. I was gonna put 2 more barrels in here. As time has passed, I have changed my mind. I had this stuck in my head that this was gonna sit this way. All you guys that said I should turn this tank, you're 100% correct. So what I'm gonna do is when it's empty, I'm gonna get a come along and build a little rafter deal there and lift it up in the center and turn this tank. And I'm actually gonna put the longer hose on here, get the fill nozzle, will be right next to there, and then this hose will just go straight back along the wall and then get a 90 and put it on there. And I did end up buying a swivel when I was in town, and it didn't cost me 40 bucks. It cost me, I think it was 8 bucks for a swivel and 8 bucks for a coupler. So I'm about 20 bucks into the project. So anyways, we'll get back to using the long hose. I'm gonna leave the hose reel where it's at. I like it being the right side up and that far away from the wall so I can stack stuff here, but definitely gonna turn the tank. So thanks for the comments and criticism. So yesterday we gave him a couple extra bales of hay, and currently this morning they're what I call solar paneling. They're all perpendicular to the sun coming up and holding very still. Because like I say, it was like 14 degrees last night. No wind to speak of. The sun has got some serious power right now. It's April 5th today. Oh, about 40 days from calving, I suppose. We did have 1 calf born a week ago. We bought a few cows from the sale barn. Of course, they said they were gonna calve in May, but it calved in March. He's right here. He's been chilling with the herd. Got a nice little snow bed. Oh, calving this time of year up here in the hills it's just ridiculous to look at when I see that thing laying there. I have no facilities. We have no barn. I couldn't put a cow in a shed if I wanted to each their own, but we will never, as far as I can tell, we will never go back and maybe go even farther down into May. Moving forward. I did plug this thing in on a timer last night since it was going to get down. Hopefully that worked. It's got two heaters on it, an oil pan and also the water. See how she likes it. Getting into this thing is definitely different with the spout up here or the chute up here, and you crawl up and you have to drop down in. You really should have a handle up here, I think, but if you go up with it, I don't know. I kind of grab in different spots all the time, but it's not terrible. So we'll see. I don't believe there's any go plugs. Well, she fired right off. I think the timer is set to come on. Probably been plugged in for 4 or 5 hours. Plenty sufficient. Hello? The door is too small in this shed now for that wagon to fit in here. When Jim gets back from Arizona, we're gonna look at this together and see what makes the most sense, but I kind of feel like making this door 2 feet taller. Ultimately, I would like to work on insulating this building. Old Jinxie wasn't plugged in. I don't know, it probably didn't get below 30, and 21. Ultimately, I think I would work on insulating this building, you know, instead of trying to build another separate shop. We might as well just work on this one since it's already here. Plus, if I get the door big enough to get in here, there's no reason to build another building. That's a summer project. And we'll make her do most of the work. Nice, tight smile. Okay, go down a little more. There you go. Oh, this one's a little fall aparty. Twines are broken, but I think it's not gonna fall apart too much. You just have to go slow. Good luck. All right, we're aired up and she's on her way. I didn't have my heater on either. My seat leaks, or the air leaks out of this truck. So my seat's always on the floor in the morning, which isn't the end of the world. Right now, I don't know if my seat is frozen. It's not raising up. The pressure's way up on my air. Standby to standby. Could be a little condensation in a loop or in that bag at the bottom or something, you know, of the seat itself. Because it'll take a little bit of air. Otherwise, we're gonna be riding low riding. So anyways, let's drop a bale in her. So the mixer's on, but it's just idling. And this is your cruise button. Hit that one time. That'll rev her right back up to where you had it before, where you want it. I got it set at 1400. Barley bale, so it grinds pretty tough. We will grind hay again next winter. Probably just not gonna do much this spring. Now I'm gonna make 2 loads today, so I'll add 1 bag in each deal. But I bought a semi-load of Redmond, and Carson said if I don't say the word Redmond every time I touch a bag, that I have to send the hat back that he gave me. Redmond, they made this for me. They'll make you, basically, I think any kind of formulation you want within reason, they will make it. Or you just get the regular blocks, natural, organic Redmonds Salt. One of the things I didn't really think I would do with a truck, in my mind I thought, okay, I'll have this truck and it'll be full, and I'm not gonna necessarily go that fast when I'm full. I'll be going faster when I'm empty. This thing with, say, 8 to 10,000 pounds of feed on it is only like, we're still only just right around half of the weight capacity of this truck. So the truck wants to drive like it's empty or half full, basically, which it is half full. So even in a half a mile stretch with an automatic transmission, without like really trying to get after it or like you're really in a hurry, you find yourself getting up to 50 miles an hour just in a half a mile on normal driving. And then of course going home, same way, you just get to 50 and you're going. So that's one thing I didn't realize I was gonna be. I thought I'd be driving more like 25 or 30 full and then go 40, 35 or 40 on the, you know, empty. But I honestly haven't found anything yet that I don't like about it. Now I swept her down into low range. Chris said just go ahead and throw that TMR switch on. Your engine can be revved up, medium or whatever. It actually likes that better. Go ahead and flip that thing on. I'm willing to drive out and put my feed farther away from the road, just because it only takes another minute to come another quarter of a mile. where the tractor, you know, would have took you 5 minutes to bounce that thing slowly out here and back. When the conditions are right, this is going to be great to get out farther, spread the manure out even farther than we already are, and not take any more time, and actually be less time, you know, with the truck. The barley doesn't grind up very good because it's so long and stringy. I got kind of a chunk in there. I'm about ready to spit it out the door. I got to measure the doors on the 2 wagons. Let's do that when we get back to the shop there. And I kind of feel like this door is bigger, but I don't know if I just feel that way or if it actually is. But I feel like the door comes higher up. Is one negative with these verticals. If you're grinding bales, you get ahead of yourself and you start adding silage when you got a big core of a bale still trapped in there. That core can just get stuck along the side of the wagon, and this will happen in all wagons. And then it'll find its way to the door, and then you got kind of a mess. It's stuck in that doorway for a while. I'm driving in about a foot of snow right now, slightly uphill. So we got finger drifts coming off of this tree belt. So you can see these drifts are, I mean, it's not foot solid on the level, but it's definitely foot deep drifts. And like I say, I'm going uphill slowly, no problemo. There's Sassy Pants out there rolling a bale of hay. Did I put that bale on backwards for her? It looks like I did. She's just driving all over the place. Driving right over the manure. That's not good. We'll have to have a talk with her about that. I got you, boo. So she had that bale on back. Well, I put it on the thing backwards. But, so we'll finish. We got 900 pounds of feed left in here. And then we'll finish unrolling this bale out. Back up with this bad boy. It's a bale full of sweet clover. Came from up north at that other farm, or that quarter land we got up north. It's not unrolling for me either. Do the old dropperooski on her. There we go. Maybe. Stubborn old one. She doesn't want to unroll at all. All right, load 2. So what I do is I leave this, I just turn my mixer on, and then I just crawl in here and hit that cruise button when I get the bale in. Now you just gotta push that button one time. Revs up right to that 1400 again. The alfalfa bale I just put in there cuts up way, way better than the barley straw hay. Less than probably a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, you can start adding silage with an alfalfa bale. The barley is definitely not what you should be wasting your time grinding with that thing. I might talk myself into getting the old Smith hay grinder back up here, because we got to feed yet for another month. Pretty steady. Another bag of Redmonds Salt, Carson. We're off with our second load. Well, that's done. I think we can mix a small load for the calves, but I don't really want to talk about calving dates and stuff, but I'm going to tell you guys that aren't involved in agriculture or with cows why we calve in May. You know, a lot of people are calving through the winter time, starting in January and all the way through, and then most people call May or June calving late. This is late for industry standards, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I think we do it. There was one gal and a husband that were, oh, I forget. It was at a grazing conference or something, and their kids didn't come back, and they were just talking about, okay, what can we cut down and how could we do it to keep ranching and cut things that we don't have to do. And that's kind of how I look at it. I don't have to have a barn. I don't have to bed cattle. I don't have to get up in the middle of the night and check. I don't have to tag. I start going through the checklist of things I don't have to do. I don't have to take care of that cow to a point to keep her in super good shape. in the dead of winter so can calve. My cows, they look really good this year because the winter's been easy. They have the summer grass to gain their weight before you try to breed them again. It's hard to explain, but it just seems so unnatural to be calving in the snow, fighting the mud, breeding in the springtime instead of breeding in the fall like a normal animal would. It's just nature's way, I think, to have babies when, you know, you look at this poor calf. You know, the sun's shining today. That calf's about probably 10 days old. He hasn't had a good day in his life yet. You know, he's the only one out here and he's not getting trampled or anything. He's just trying to survive. So his first 2 weeks of his life have been nothing but, I'm just trying to stay alive. That's all I've been doing. And it's not even that tough of winter, or tough of spring right now. I mean, it got rained on and snowed on. So that's his only objective right now, is to stay alive. Calves born the end of May, first part of June. It's 65, 70 degrees. Grass is green. They hit the ground, they nurse, they're getting dried off instantly, and the next day they're growing. That's why we do it. And then besides that, the economics always kind of on your side to have a lighter calf in the spring to sell. These 6-weight cattle now are bringing the same money or more money than an 8-weight did the 1st of January. The economics don't even make sense to calve earlier and try to get a calf to be 8 or 900 pounds by the 1st of January. So you got the labor issue, an economic issue, and then just a fact that the cattle don't thrive the first few days or first few weeks of their life. Let's go mix a load of feed. I like this truck. Calf load. This load's only 6,600 pounds. So I actually got the mixer going while I'm driving without having your hay ground up. It takes a little longer than that. I put a first cutting brome grass bale in here. So it's pretty long stuff. You can tell it's working a little bit, but not really. I gained some horsepower right back. I might actually find a little snow along here now. I didn't push any of the drifts away. Feed truck was here the other day and he got stuck. It's pretty much melted now. There's some pretty good drifts right over here. Took me a second to get all my switches and flips and such into engaged. So there I just drove up this hill. It's like a foot deep of snow. Not sure where I'm going. If I had some weight on my front end with a bale on here, I'd actually have more traction yet, I think. I gotta get turned around. We're just kind of fooling around now. I think I'll avoid part of that snow. There's no reason to drive through all those drifts. But I will drive over here if I can. So this is a pretty good hill, side hill, and this is the snow that's melting. You know what it's like? It's just like silky smooth. It's just like ice underneath there. And there's where we were driving up that hill. That's where I kind of got stuck a second there until I got all my flippers flipped. And I drove right up to this hill of snow. I was gonna try to drive through all this snow, but it's kind of pointless to do that. I think if a guy used his head, I couldn't have done that with a two-wheel drive tractor. Obviously a front wheel assist you could have. What's up, guys? There's more horns falling off all the time. There for a while I thought I missed a few or I didn't band them, but I think there's only maybe one now that I look at it. One or two that I didn't band because a couple of them, the horns fell off the other day. It's been quite a while though. I mean, 90 days. Well, that's done. I think I'm gonna pull in the yard. I'm missing a bolt. That thing kind of jiggles when you hitting the bumps. I think there's a place to screw right in there as well. Let's see what it looks like. Oh boy. That's just a big old self-tapper there, bud. Okay, let's go see if we got something like that. So this is my don't throw anything away screw container. Oh. There she be, boys. That's the one we need. How about a bit to fit it? There we go. She does, but she doesn't want to stay. But we definitely need a washer. So I went back to actual bolts instead of them screws. We'll try that first. See if that is a threaded deal up in there. That one did. That fricker got tight. This one, that one will strip. I wish this was a little more solid too. That camera on there, a little weight on it. This is a lot better though. What could a guy do? All right, folks, full disclosure, I've been sitting here for about a half hour watching YouTube videos. I think what I came up with. I'm gonna get a screwdriver. I'm gonna take these screws out and see what kind of, if that's into some good metal or something up there, I might just put a wedge in here and get a longer screw and maybe a bushing like type scenario, or like a little L hook, and screw these up into there so it will make this solid, so then this doesn't flex anymore. It would tie it all into the roof. So that's good. It's an actual machined screw, and it's into, they built it right into the metal. So if we can go find a long machined or a stove bolt or something, whatever you want to call this, if we can find one of those with a little L hook and a wedge, we'll be in business. I'll spare you the agony, but I'm gonna be in my shop, know what I want, and I have a really good feeling that I've kept it for many years and it's just hidden. It's hidden amongst in here. I just have to find it. All right, I found a couple of screws and I'm gonna bend this washer at a 90, but I gotta drill a hole in it for my screw to go in. This is gonna be my little holder upper. Piper Doug said this is a Ukrainian adjustable wrench, I believe is what he called it. Check out Piper Doug's channel in Canada. Seems to work for me, and I'm not even Ukrainian. So I got a hole drilled in my washer. Tiny little guy. Now we'll bend it in half. I kind of felt like those guys at the carnival where they're putting pennies on necklaces for people. I had a little bit of a challenge getting that hole in there, but we're past it. I'm gonna bend her now. Put it right in the vise and then just hammer it over. Hammer me! Couldn't find it, somebody put it away. So my theory is we'll put this right here like so. That ain't gonna work. Upon further review, I guess I didn't need a 90. I don't know what I was thinking. It needs to just be flat out there. So I think what I'll do is I'll just bend this again flat, and that'll give this thing some rigidity so it won't just bend as easy. So now we'll try it. The other thing we gotta figure out is I need something as a wedge, but it's gotta be hard enough and yet soft enough. So I thought about this heater hose, and I think that's gonna work. A little 1.5-inch chunk of this heater hose, and that'll be kind of like a little springy, a wedgie machine. Update, I don't know if I need this hose or not. If I can just shove it all the way up. This was a little adjustment there, I could kick it up there. But my screw that I have here is too short, so I gotta go find a longer screw. I found a super long one, but I'll have to cut it down because it's too long. So I got this one, but she's about 4 inches long. We'll have to hold it up here and see. Then I could put the rubber back in now if I wanted to. All right, things are escalating. Long bolt I got is a little bit bigger. So now I got to tap this piece of metal out where the light goes into, where the screw's gonna go. So we're kind of going down the path of no return once we start doing stuff like this, but we'll get her. MacGruber it up. All right, so we got that tapped out, and then this bolt is gonna be long enough, but now my washer idea is not really gonna work because it just needs to be a flat deal with a couple holes in it. So we gotta go. You
just need a flat piece with a few little holes in it?
Yeah, like about this long and with 2 holes in it. I think I got it. Aha! You mean something like this? Haha.
Jackpot.
This little guy's gonna work perfect. We can put this cover back on. No! God dang it all! That's a bad move, Matt. Stand by. Well, luck be a lady tonight. We were fine there. She was just right on the edge. Put that back on there. We got this little guy. Take this long one. Put him in here. Another problem. The dome cover is a little bit catching on there. Think we're cool now. Won't start in there. What the heck is going on? Stand by, folks. I gotta see what's up. When I tap that out, the tap and this stove bolt or this machine bolt, it's not the same thread. So what I thought was working was just one last rim of that tin piece that was holding on. So we got two options. We can keep going bigger and get an actual bolt, like a real size bolt, a normal tap and a normal bolt, or we can take this cover off and weld a nut on the top of the backside of this, drill this out, and then tack weld would be a what? 1/4 inch nut, and then use a 1/4 inch bolt. And then we'd have to drill this dome cover out as well to 1/4 inch. Can of worms when you start altering it like that. All right, let me think about it a second. I think what we're gonna try to do is we'll just tap it out with a 1/4 inch actual threads, and we'll use a 1/4 inch bolt. And if that don't work, we'll have to take this cover off and see if we can't tack weld a nut on the back side. I wonder if it's because my stupid screwdriver or my vice grips is wonky. Put this thing in a drill. Try to keep it more straight. Ah, that's not how taps work. Is this tap just a piece of crap? I got another tap set. I'm gonna go grab that. This one's out of a newer set, and when you're tapping, it's not supposed to spin. It's supposed to cut one time through. It's basically just a little piece of aluminum now that, or tin, that I see when they push the screw holes. It's not really thick enough to, we're gonna have to take it off and see if we can't zip tack a little nut on the back side of that thing. Well, this thing doesn't give me a lot of cord, and I don't know how to get that even out of there. It's like almost built in. But I did find two separate layers of extra metal up here. I think we could drill through this one and just tap into there. That is real iron there. So that's where I'm at. If that don't work, then we can drill that hole a little bit bigger and put a nut up in there and maybe wedge it in there enough to get it started. But hopefully we can just tap that cab liner thing, or this cab. Like I say, that's the cab, the roof up there, and then there's two layers, so we'll get a bigger bit. All right, that worked. I drilled that out and put a tap in there and just tapped it and put this 1/4 inch bolt will go right in there. So now we gotta make sure that it's gonna go through there. So I'll drill that out, and then we gotta drill out my cover. Let's put this back on, some screws in there, and then we'll try her again. She's in there. I wish this was bent ahead a little bit. I'm gonna try to bend that bolt or tweak the iron up there a hair, but I'm a little reluctant. Maybe I should take it off, bend the bolt down here out in the vise or something. I'd like to see this thing farther back in another 1/2 inch before I drill into my hood of that. I think I'm gonna take this bolt out and try to bend it and go back. So I just put her in the vise and gave it a couple of whacks with the hammer and gave it a slight bend. We'll just have to stop when it's just like that. And that makes it fit that little bit of an angle. Oh yeah. I like that a lot. Now we got a little tiny stove, I keep calling them stove bolts, but they're really not. I got a tiny little machine bolt with a nut, and we'll drill into this and we'll bolt this camera right to this stud, and then that's going to transfer everything down into this dash thing. I think we got her, guys. Oh yeah, nice. Well, that escalated. All right, recap. We put new bolts in here, actual 1/4 inch bolt. Instead of, they had self-tapping screws in there. We did rubber little spongy filler gap, and then tap that out, put this in there. Got the little mysterious piece we found in the garage to go right there. That puppy is locked in there nice and solid. Skylar, when he was working on this, he didn't really know what a MacGruber I was, but if he would have known that that's a MacGruber approved, I'm sure that Ted and Skylar would have did this back at Maxville. All right, folks, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for tuning in. Truck is working good. If we ever get it stuck, if we ever do anything crazy, you're gonna be the first to know. So stay tuned. Share the video if you like it. Hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what I'm doing wrong. I love that because it does get my brain going. Don't worry about offending me. You're not gonna be able to. So peace. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.